Hetroscedasticity. What do you mean by hetroscedasticity? Well, if you remember, in our classical linear regression model assumptions, we have made a very important assumption, which was that variance of ut given xt is equal to sigma square for all t. Okay, well, note that I have not written it sigma square I, which would have changed, or sigma square t, which would have changed for every observation. Okay, this was not the case. The case is that all observations, all error terms have same variance. Okay, let me write it for you. They have same variance. This was the assumption of homoscedasticity. Homoscedasticity. That would mean dispersion is equal across all observations. Across all observations. Okay. Now we're going to look at the cases in which this variance of ut given xt is not sigma square, but it becomes sigma square I or sigma square t. That is, it changes with observations. Okay, it changes with observations. Variance is not same, across all observations. Okay, now if we have this kind of a scenario, then how do you look at the problem? So let us give you some of the very classic examples. Okay, now example is that supposedly if there are low income households, and there are some high income households. Okay, now if you look at the consumption pattern of low income households, what do you find? You find that major proportion of their income is being spent on food or on some other necessity items. Okay, necessity items. So there is not much variation, in their consumption patterns. While if you look at the high income households, you find them that they are not only spending on necessity items, they're also spending a lot on the luxury items. Okay, supposedly both of us, you and I, are belonging to high income households. Now, I may be spending on car, you might be spending on bike. I may be spending on small home, you might be spending on big home, or whatever. Okay, but these are luxury items. Fine. You might be going to a very big restaurant. Fine. But you cannot expect that from a poor household or a low income household. So there might be a huge variation. In high income households. So what we have learned is that there might be very high variability in consumption pattern of high income households. Now here, in this case, in case of high income households, what you find is that the assumption of homoscedasticity is false. You cannot assume